Welcome, y'all. It is Brad with College SportsCast. We are here to do our cross show, the Big Fuss and Game Day Pick'em show. Welcome to the fuss.
Can I please have your attention?
There's all a commotion around here.
What are you talking about?
Let them yap at you.
It's actually very exciting.
Welcome back, guys. It's Brad with College SportsCast. I've got John Hammonds on here with me. What's up, Mr. Hammonds?
What's up, man?
Welcome back, guys. It's Brad with College SportsCast.
Oh, sorry, I got you live.
Yeah, I hear it, man. I hear it. Yeah.
My bad. I was trying to add some people. My bad.
All right, man. We are here in Thursday night. We are doing this on a Thursday night. John is going to be in Lexington tomorrow night covering the Cats against Loyola, and we're going to be covering that tomorrow night. So we're doing this on a Thursday night here at College SportsCast tonight, and we're going to get things started with our normal. Let me log on here. And if you are on with us on Facebook, man, we are growing tremendously. We're getting closer and closer to 7K, and we appreciate you. Just want you guys to know that you can help support us. I do have a flash sale still going on to the 23rd. I think there's 2 more spots available open for 49 cents for the first month. After that, it's 99 cents a month. That's all it is. It does help support us each and every month to continue to make these for you. You get your own chat, your own subscribers page that you can post on and have a little fun with us. All right. Having said that, if you are on YouTube, we appreciate you as well. We continue to try to grow our YouTube, and just want to say that we appreciate you as well. Please like and subscribe. That goes for YouTube and for Facebook. We would appreciate both. You please comment, talk to us while we're on the show if you're on here with us, and just have a little bit of fun with us. So we appreciate that. All right. One last thing before we kick things off here and get things started. Tonight, I'm going to put up our QR code for our Real Fresh channel, Bet Us code. That is a Bet Us code. That code will give you 3 deposit matches up to 125%. If you use our QR code, just scan that code at the top. This is with the Real Fresh channel and College SportsCast, and we appreciate Howie Fresh and working together to help us both. All right, I'm going to leave that up at the top of the screen as we kind of go through things tonight, John. The first thing we're going to talk about is the new college football playoff rankings. I kind of want you to go through this week's new rankings with us, and then we're going to have a little bit of discussion. You got them pulled up? You're muted, man.
I got them pulled up. So, at 1 was Ohio State, 2 was Indiana, 3 was Texas A&M, 4 was Georgia, 5 was Texas Tech, 6 was Ole Miss, 7 was Oregon, 8 was Oklahoma, 9 was Notre Dame, 10 was Alabama, 11 was BYU, 12 was Utah, 13 was Miami, which they would be the 11 seed, 14 is Vanderbilt, 15 is USC, 16 is Georgia Tech, 17 was Texas, 18 was Michigan, 19 was Virginia, 20th was Tennessee. Illinois was 21. 22 was Missouri. 23 is Houston. 24 is Tulane. They would be the 12th seed. And then you topped it off with the 25 was Arizona State.
All right. So first things first at the top. Can you explain to me how Notre Dame is ahead of Alabama? Look at the resumes.
I get that, but I feel like that's a good question. I think the Oklahoma loss has a lot to do with that.
They were 4 last week. You dropped them 6 spots, losing to an Oklahoma team that's now like what, number 8?
Well, I feel like too, as a Bama fan, you don't want to panic right now because if you fix the mistakes that you had last week against Oklahoma, they should handle Auburn. And now they play Mercer this week. You know, if they win those 2, get to the SEC championship, get a little help, I think they get in. I will say this, though. If he does not get Alabama to a playoff for the second consecutive year where they did not make it, as a Bama fan, that would kind of piss me off.
Well, so here's the dilemma with Alabama right now, to be honest with you. More than likely, if they continue to win, which is going to put them in position, they're going to have an extra game that some of these people are not going to have.
That's true.
You're going to get the SEC championship game. What happens if Alabama wins against Mercer, beats Auburn on the road, and then loses in the SEC championship game?
That's a big dilemma. Like, does somebody from
They just dropped 6 spots by losing to Oklahoma.
Well,
I mean, we're not talking about they lost to Mercer here. They lost to Oklahoma.
Yeah, and then you would have BYU kind of slide in there, Utah, maybe even Vanderbilt. And I say this, there's a team that's kind of got a decent case, is Miami. I mean, you know, they lost to Louisville, lost to SMU. But the good news for them is now there's probably a better chance for them compared to 2 weeks ago. I felt like they lost to SMU, the overtime game. It kind of knocked them down a little bit. They moved up to 15. Okay, they beat NC State. Notre Dame, I thought, beat Wolfpack pretty good, handily. That was a really close game early in South Bend. Miami whipped them. Like, does that, basing them off beating them pretty bad, like, does that work in the Miami's favor? Like, the thing about Miami, they need help from an at-large standpoint. They're going to have some help in the ACC, with Georgia Tech. The 2 lost teams ahead of the Hurricanes are going to have to lose another game. I'm looking at, Notre Dame.
When you
Oklahoma.
look at, Miami's resume is probably strong enough, okay?
Yeah.
But when you look at the position that they're in,
yeah, they're
does
not.
Miami actually deserve to be the first spot in the ACC?
I don't think so. I think you got to give it to Georgia Tech. And then you look at
or Virginia. Virginia, as far as I know, both of them only have 1 loss. I'm pretty sure Miami has 2.
Here's where it gets kind of hairy, Brad. What if USC beats Oregon at Autzen Stadium Saturday?
I know that. And then if Alabama just fell 6 spots by losing to Oklahoma, if Oregon gets beat at home to USC, who is what, 20th or something like that, 19th?
Well, what that does is that puts 3 10-2 teams up above in the conference. and they'll be behind Ohio State and Indiana. Now, if Michigan takes out Ohio State, that's going to be a fourth Big Ten squad into the bracket. Say you got Michigan in there, that's probably going to put Oregon on the outside.
I'll be honest with you. I know Michigan is still viable in the rankings right this minute, but I do not think. Look, USC beat them. USC should get in over them. I have some issues with the way these rankings go down. Head to head, Miami beat Notre Dame. How do you have Miami below Notre Dame?
If it were up to me, Brad, I would look at Miami's head-to-head loss or Notre Dame's head-to-head loss to Miami. I take it a little serious here. They're sitting pretty. They got Syracuse and Stanford coming up. There's virtually no way if they win those games, they're going to be falling out of the bracket. Like they're not. It's not happening.
Well, I mean, John, there's several teams you can look at that as. Okay, Vandy's getting close. Okay.
Yeah.
If Vandy happens to beat Kentucky and Tennessee and finish their season 10-2 in the position that they're in, how do you keep them out?
Well, that's where Oklahoma comes into play.
Wait a second. There's more. What about Ole Miss? Ole Miss has one game left. They have a bye week this week. They played Mississippi State. They win. They're in. There's no way they can't be in.
Yeah. See, you look at the Vanderbilt situation. I felt like last week Oklahoma beating Alabama really hurt the doors, because they're behind the pack. 2 losses. And that's tough, to get to the conference title game. But it's going to take a lot for them. They're going to have some teams in front of them lose. And that's kind of, assuming they even beat Tennessee on Thanksgiving weekend. It's not even a foregone conclusion they win at Tennessee. Like, they're going to have to beat
Tennessee. I'm saying it's a conclusion. I'm saying if they finish and beat Kentucky and Tennessee, I'm sorry, but in my opinion, they deserve to be in.
I agree. I do.
I don't care how you twist it, turn it. I don't care about automatic qualifiers. I don't care about any of that. If Vandy goes 10-2 in the SEC, through the SEC, they deserve to be in.
Well, I'll be honest with you. You was talking about Ole Miss. I'm not totally sure.
How about Oklahoma? Oklahoma, if they win their last 2 ball games, aren't they in?
I mean, they play Missouri and LSU. I mean, LSU will probably be a tougher game, but it's hard to imagine Oklahoma being dropped out of an at-large spot. Then again, Oklahoma has been kind of up and down offensively at times.
I'm talking about if they finish winning out is what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably going to make it. But you look at Ole Miss, I find it hard to believe that Ole Miss would be safe with a loss in the Egg Bowl, honestly. A 10-2 record is probably going to be okay because you got wins over Oklahoma and Tulane. But, that LSU, was it the LSU game? Who did they lose to? Ole Miss.
They lost to Georgia.
They lose 2.
I'm trying to think. Is that it?
I think. Yeah, they're 10-1.
Yeah, that's what I think.
I forgot about the LSU game. They come back and won that one. But
yeah, I think Georgia's the only game they've lost.
I feel like that they would be safe even 10-2. The wild card is Texas Tech. I'd be personally surprised if they don't wind up in the playoff. The class of the Big 12, I think. Now
Texas Tech is in a very good spot, John. But if they get to which they should be in, I mean, if they get to the championship game, the Big 12, and lose, I'm not so sure that they get in.
You know who's actually in a good spot? Georgia.
Yeah, I mean, with their schedule,
because even if they lose to Georgia Tech, and even if they take a third loss in the conference title game, that win over Ole Miss is going to look big on them. To me, and then you got Texas A&M. Now they play Samford Saturday, which I feel like that's going to be a win. They'll be 11-0.
I think A&M is in. I really do.
They're probably going to their first playoff in the program history. Now, the big game is with Texas, the rivalry. But I feel like a one-loss SEC team is probably going to be a lock. So, at the end,
even if they lose in the championship game, that's just 2. They'll still be in the top 12.
I feel like they'll still be in the top 12. So they're not really. They're really the ones that are in a unique position.
Yeah.
Like you look at last week, coming back from now, had they lost to South Carolina last week, we might be talking about a different story. But
I know that was a hell of a comeback right there.
That whole game changed their whole season, really. I mean, in that second half. So,
all right, John, I got some questions for you. We do kind of some debate topics here at the Big Fuss. So, resume versus eye test, which is a better? And I don't think I put the word better in there. Which is a better barometer or tool to use?
Well, I think it has to be resume. Like, look at Alabama. They got wins over Georgia, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, Missouri. Do you honestly think that a committee is going to punish them with a third loss and put a Notre Dame team in over them? Like, you look at the resume.
Well, here's my thing, though, man. I don't know. Joe Platt, what's his name?
Joe Klatt, yeah.
Joe Klatt, yes. Like he's doing all this talk this week and talking about how they're using the eye test on these things and talking about how it's a good thing. Please, people, please stop doing that crap. It's absolutely asinine to me.
Look at the eye test for Georgia Tech. Now, let's be fair. Georgia Tech's 9-1, but they lost to NC State. Okay, they barely
survived 2 or 3 games.
Boston College.
Yeah, a 1-10 Boston College.
I mean, I don't know, bro. I feel like resume's better because you kind of get an idea who these teams have beat. Like look at Tulane. If they win out, they're going to the AAC title game with a shot to clinch the college football playoff.
And all this kind of okay. If they went out, which they really should, looking at their schedule, to be honest with you. But if they went out and get to the AAC championship game, if they lose, everybody in the country knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They're not going to make it. Somebody else is going to jump them in front of them.
Might be James Madison.
Yeah, might be.
You get the chaos in the American. You got a 3-loss champion. JMU is right there to snag that last bid. But I feel like the committee has made it clear they favor the AAC over the Sun Belt in the past.
Oh, I do too.
I feel like
but if you have to get to a 3-loss AAC team, I mean, I'm not so sure that they get in.
To me, that's a tough decision to make. And you got North Texas sitting there.
Yep.
Like you got a 4-team log jam all at one. I think all of them's got one conference loss, and you really don't know how the tiebreakers are going to shake around. But
that's the reason why I don't like the setup for this. I don't like having to everybody don't play each other. I don't like the non-divisions. I don't like how you have to you have 4 or 5 teams locked in, and you have no idea towards the end what's even going to happen and who needs to win, and because they don't play each other, and it's an absolute mess, if you ask me.
Well, and I look at it, there's Indiana and Ohio State are probably already locks. If you want to put two teams in that are locks, those two.
And A&M, I would put 3.
Well, and they're probably going to play for the the Big Ten championship, and whoever loses that game is probably going to get in automatically. It's not really going to matter at the end of the day, unless Ohio State loses to Michigan and Indiana. But even then, I think Ohio State still gets in because they'll still be in the top 12. But my thing is, I don't like this whole new idea of the, like you said, resume, eye test stuff. A lot of these teams have not even played each other.
They don't.
And how do you know how to pick these teams unless you really seen them
And
play?
what's crazy, John, is the teams that do play each other. We got the commissioner of the college football playoff on in a conversation and tells them the difference between Miami and Notre Dame is that we looked at and examined their losses. That was his quote, okay? The commission, the head of the commission for college football playoffs said this on the show to Reese Davis.
If that's the case,
hello, I don't know if you know this, but the commission guy, Hunter, whatever your name is, I'm here to tell you, if you looked at their losses, maybe you noticed that Notre Dame lost to Miami. Maybe. Just maybe.
Well, if
Lord have mercy.
If that's the case, Brad, I guess you can look at Tulane getting whipped by Ole Miss. 8-2 team lose to Ole Miss.
How do you have Notre Dame? If you looked at their losses to determine, and then you have Notre Dame ahead of them?
Well, look at Utah. But to be fair, they lost to Texas Tech and BYU, and their only win over ranked team was Arizona State, which they was already down to a backup quarterback. But obviously, they're in the middle of the at-large. But they got have a lot of help. It wouldn't take much for them to get to the Big 12 title game.
I agree with you 100%, man. It's just, I think a whole lot of that stuff is just, I could not believe that the head of the committee said that on national TV with Reese Davis afterwards. Unbelievable.
I don't know.
All right. I'm going to get to a couple of topics. Going to try to make this quick. Should teams below 20 in the playoff rankings make the college football playoff field? John, my thing is this. College football has always been about the elite. You have to be elite to have a chance.
Yeah.
I hate to see a system. Now, the group of 5, I'm going to kind of leave out of this.
Yeah.
But outside of the group of 5,
look at last year.
I have a problem with a team that is 16th in the rankings that gets in.
Well, look at SMU last year, for an example. They get in, they get dominated by Penn State. Like, is that where we're going with?
Why do we have the rankings if we're just going to let the 19th team in the damn playoffs?
Well, and you look at the year before last with Florida State. Like, if it had not been for their quarterback getting injured, Jordan Travis, they're probably in the playoff. And, they're probably going to be one of the better teams. And instead we got who did we get in that playoff, I think? Was it 2023, 24? I ain't got it on there. There was
TCU. TCU was in there. Cincinnati was in there one year.
Cincinnati. There was a few teams in there that I didn't feel like even we had a TCU team that got absolutely manhandled by Georgia.
Yeah.
For a championship game.
Just demolished.
Like, wasn't even a game. Wasn't even a
It wasn't even a quarter.
Yeah, what are we doing?
So to go along with this, I'm going to throw something out at you, John. I believe that the automatic bid for the Power Four conferences, that you should only be able to get that and cash that in and use that if you are 15 and above in the rank, 15 or better in the rankings.
I agree with you.
If you're below 15, I'm sorry, you don't qualify for the automatic bid. I don't care if you did win your conference, and I don't care if it's from the SEC, Big Ten, ACC, or Big 12. What's fair is fair for anybody.
Yep.
So all these people that want to claim bias, I don't think you understand what bias means. When something is equal and fair for everybody, that's the exact opposite of bias. Yep. And by the way, I have a poll with this exact question on our Facebook page tonight. And before we come on, it was like 75-25 in favor of this. 75% to 25. And there was 150 votes or something like that, 200 votes, somewhere around there, 150, something like that. And it was about 75% in favor of and 25% not. I think that should be a rule that is adopted. I just, if you're 17th and you win your conference, woohoo, big deal.
Yep.
Go to a bowl game and get your cookie.
Yeah.
Stay the hell out of the college football playoff.
Yeah.
If you're not elite and you don't have that resume and your conference sucks this year, so be it. That's just the way it is.
Like that song says, that's just the way it is.
I mean, all right. Final college football playoff predictions.
All right.
How many SEC do you think actually get in? I say 5 gets in.
I think 5. I think you got A&M, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Alabama. And I'll say this too. I'm just going to give you my top 12. It's going to be Indiana, Ohio State, Indiana, A&M, Georgia, Alabama, Texas Tech, Ole Miss. I just think Notre Dame's going to get in. I mean, they'll win these last 2. Oregon, and then the toss-up is going to be either Miami, Utah, BYU, or Oklahoma, right? In that order. And I would put Oklahoma in over Miami, honestly, because Oklahoma's got some pretty good wins.
It is going to be very close. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. But we are going to switch things up and get to our game day pick'ems. So wanted to run through that really quick. John, this is going to be One of the first games, or the first game we talk about here, this is a big game in that college football playoff picture. This is in Norman. Missouri is visiting Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a 7.5-point favorite coming off of that Alabama victory in Tuscaloosa. Missouri may get the quarterback back this week, too.
Yeah, I mean, these teams hate each other, Brad.
Yeah.
You look at the Big 12. It went on for many, many years. Now Bo Perbula, they're saying he might return for this game, which that would be really impressive considering his injury in the Vanderbilt game. Now I feel like if he does come back, he's going to be very limited in this game, which I feel like is going to hurt him in a way. Vegas has Oklahoma at 7.5. Oklahoma needs to win these last two games, I think, to make the Alabama win matter. And I think they get it done. I think they win this game. It's at Oklahoma. Oklahoma's pretty good at home. John Mateer is really, really good quarterback. They're playing really well as late. Their defense is playing really well. Give me Oklahoma in the 7.5. I think they win this game. I just don't see, with the quarterback situation in flux for Missouri, how they go on the road and win this game.
Oklahoma's defense, I think, is what's going to be the difference in this game, man. Their defense last week ate Alabama up. I mean, they did all the scoring, or set up all the scoring, basically, in that game to beat Alabama last week. They forced 3 turnovers, crucial turnovers last week against Alabama. I just don't think Missouri's going to be able to come in here and handle them. I'm going to take the Sooners here in this one as well. And I think they have a really good chance of finishing this season in position to make the playoffs.
Yep.
The next one we're going to get to, John, a Big Ten matchup, maybe the best Big Ten matchup this week. USC is at Oregon. And don't look now, but the Trojans have kind of turned things around. They're 8-2. They're 8-2. They've been playing really well, won some big games away from home, which is absolutely astonishing that they've won a couple of games on the road because they had been playing terrible away from home.
Well, and I think, too, Oregon has really not played anybody except Indiana. They've had a pretty easy schedule. What if USC wins this game? Okay.
Listen, if USC wins this game, I actually think Oregon falls out and USC likely gets in if they can finish the last game.
You got teams like Alabama and Oklahoma and USC. They would have wins over top 10 teams. And little Notre Dame don't have one.
Yep, that's true.
And so how does that stack up against the rest of the teams that are vying for that spot? And I think this is a big game. I do. And Oregon has played really well at times. Now, the Indiana game, I didn't think they played real well. They made a lot of mistakes. A lot of people have been making mistakes against Indiana, though. They've been just beating people to death and just pushing them into submission, and just one of those unbelievable seasons for Indiana. But at the same time, Oregon needs to win this game. I think USC knows they got to win this game to kind of keep their college football playoff hopes alive. So I'm going to take Oregon, but I'm also going to take USC in the points. I don't think Oregon wins by more than 10.5.
Yeah, so that's where I'm at with this one. I do believe Oregon wins this game. I think 10.5 is too high. I think this is going to be a really good, interesting game all day long out in Eugene. But I think the Ducks prevail, but give me USC and 10.5 points as far as betting. I think that's where I'm going to go as well. All right, we're going to the Big 12. TCU is at Houston. I don't think a lot of people even realize that Houston is still at least in the running, near the running of making the Big 12 championship game, they need some things to happen.
Well, the thing with Houston, they don't have no big wins really.
They don't, but they're 8-2. They're in the running there. They need a couple of things to happen.
I feel like what's really killed Houston is losing to West Virginia last game, the last home game, and they needed an unbelievable ending to beat Arizona. And TCU beat West Virginia. I don't know how you feel about back and forth things like winning and losses, but this is a big game. TCU's got a really good quarterback in Hoover. Houston's got a really good defense. I think they're ranked in the top 20, top 30. Be interesting to see how Houston kind of, can they figure it out? Can they get over that West Virginia game? I think they do. I think they win this game at home, and I think they continue to keep driving. And I think they still got a shot to kind of slip in there, but they're going to have a lot of help.
They do have a shot to slip in. They just need BYU to slip up, and but they do still have a shot. I'm going to take the Cougars here at home, although I do like this TCU team as well. I think this is a big one for them at home, and at just 1.5 in a home game, you should cover that. All right, this is a big one in the ACC this week. Georgia Tech can wrap up a spot in the ACC championship game this week. This is their last ACC game. They have only lost one. Pitt is right there, too. If they could upset Georgia Tech, they still have a shot at it. But Georgia Tech would lock theirs in. They're a 2.5-point favorite at home, John.
Yeah, I think the loser of this game is probably not going to make it the ACC championship game.
Yeah, I don't either.
Pitt still has a chance, I think. Georgia Tech is what? I think 2.5
Georgia
point favorite.
Yeah, 2.5.
This should be a really fun game. How does Pitt respond after getting mollywopped by Notre Dame last week? That was a really bad showing by Pitt.
Yeah.
Both have one conference loss. I feel like this game really, really matters for both teams. But at the end of the day, I think I'm going to go with Georgia Tech at home. I think, Haynes King gets it done in front of the home crowd.
Yeah, the Yellow Jackets, man, gosh, they're a team that I thought early on was going to be really, really good, but they are confusing lately. They really should have lost at least 2 other games, and to not very good teams as well. We've already mentioned the Boston College one. Was Syracuse or somebody earlier? That was just that they should have lost to, or Wake Forest. Might have been both of them. Heck, I don't know. I can't. The 2 or 3 games, but I'm going to take the Yellow Jackets at home after the way Pittsburgh looked last week. It's just hard not to. And if Georgia Tech wins this game, they do lock in a spot in the ACC championship game. Now, having said that, if Georgia Tech wins this game and locks in their spot, where does that leave Miami? Just asking.
That's I don't know.
Just asking, because Virginia's pretty much locked in as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting down the stretch.
All right, back to the Big 12. BYU is at Cincinnati. BYU is in position to make the Big 12 championship game. Cincinnati could be as well. They are a player in this as well. I think they would need a little help, but beating BYU would be a huge, huge piece to that. BYU is the Cougars are favored 2.5 on the road this week.
I feel like this is a trap game, man. You look at Bear Bachmeier. He's played really, really well.
Yep.
you got look at what Iowa State. They went to Nippert and they did not play well at all. Cincinnati is a tough place to play. I feel like BYU being ranked, I feel like behind so many 2-loss teams, which they got the win over Utah. I don't know, but Notre Dame don't even have a win like that, like honestly.
Nope.
And yet they're still hanging around the 8, like right in the top 10. Like
BYU is not getting the credit that they deserve, to be
they
honest.
don't, but those 2 losses are tough on them. Oh no, the 1 loss. I'm sorry, they lost,
and that was to Texas Tech.
Well, that was
I mean,
to Texas Tech. To be fair, I mean Texas Tech's playing at an insane level. So
nobody has hung with Texas Tech at Texas Tech this year. Nobody.
No, I think I'm going to go with Cincinnati here, Brad. This feels like a trap game, really. To be honest,
I'm rocking with the Cougars. I really.
I mean, Cincinnati is one of those.
I do not want to see what happened last year. I really thought BYU was in. They're in position. It's time to close the deal.
Well, I feel like Cincinnati is one of those teams like you don't really know what team you're going to get from week to week. And you got the team that whipped Iowa State.
I'm taking BYU in the points 2.5 tonight. All right, John, we're going to get to Kentucky and Vandy. Big game Saturday on the road. The Wildcats go to Vandy. It is sold out. I don't know if you noticed that today, but it is a sellout now. The Commodores here are a 9.5-point favorite at home, John. Kentucky has played better. They've won 3 in a row. But Vandy is probably a different animal.
You got Kentucky that's, 1 win away from bowl eligibility. They're going to need to win in Nashville or beat Louisville on the road next week. Vanderbilt needs a lot of stuff to happen in 2 wins to get to the playoffs, right? A 6th SEC team, I feel like, is very unlikely, but crazier things have happened.
Could happen, but it's unlikely.
Well, the thing is, too, you got a bunch of defensive starters for Kentucky that are out. There's quite a bit. They're beat up. I don't know how to take this game. I mean, 9.5 seems awful high, but at the same time, Vanderbilt has been doing some really fun things on offense, scoring at will. Now, Vanderbilt's defense has not played great lately. Now, does that give us a little hope that Cutter Bowley can kind of figure things out and make some plays? But is it going to be enough points? I feel like in this kind of game, Kentucky's going to have to outscore Vanderbilt to win.
Kentucky's defense has been playing really, really well outside of the Tennessee game about a month ago now. But Kentucky's defense has been playing really well. Now, what scares me in this game, John, it's possible that Kentucky could have up to 6 defensive backs, corners and defensive backs.
You got a linebacker. You got
out.
2.
You got a defense. Your edge rusher, Sam Green, is going to be out.
You got 2 cornerbacks.
Up to 6.
Well, and then you got the questionables, the Alex Afari.
Yep.
Terrion Nichols, I think Khalil
and
Saunders.
It's all defense. It's all defense. Me, that's not a good recipe trying to go to Vandy and win this week.
Here's the thing. If you lose this Vanderbilt game, put all your eggs in a basket and beat Louisville next week.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to
go to the bowl
most likely have to do here. I think this is a tall task. I think this is a tall task for Stoops and company on the road against a top 15 team, because that's what Vandy is. Let's be honest. They played that way all year. Give them their credit and their due. Diego Pavia has played great. You got to give them their credit. Vandy is a top 15 team. 8-2. They could finish the season being the college football playoff. And with Kentucky being down so many people on the defensive side of the ball, I just think they're going to come up short
It's just going to be
on
tough.
Saturday.
But I'll be honest with you, I've seen crazier things happen too. So
now, the 9.5, I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about the 9.5.
I don't either. I feel like
it feels kind of high, but honestly, as far as a real better, if you're a real better and you are a Kentucky fan and you're a real better, I would stay away from this spread.
Yeah, I wouldn't do much betting on this one.
Now, if you're a Vanderbilt fan or somebody that's not a Kentucky fan, maybe you feel like that they're going to blow Kentucky out. I don't know. But Kentucky has played a lot better. Cutter Boley and the offense will compete in this game, I believe.
They will.
The defense is what scares me here. Could this be a 10-point win? Could this be a third? Could this be a 30? Could this be a 30-20 score and be a 10-point win for Vandy? Maybe.
Well, I mean, to be fair, look at the last couple of weeks. They've had a bunch of guys out. The Auburn game, the Florida game. They've answered the bell.
They have. I'm just
a lot of these young guys.
They have, and Kentucky has had a lot of young guys stepping up. Cam Dooley comes to mind. There's been some really, really good players, young guys, stepping in and playing. So we'll see what happens. But that's kind of my feelings on the game. So, all right, the next few games here we're going to get to. This is going to be some group of 5 possibility games. I do have one more ACC game, but there's a few here. Tulane is 7.5-point favorite at Temple. John, this Temple team started the season pretty well. They're now sitting at 5-5. And Tulane's on the road here. Do the Owls have a shot at knocking off what looks like the contender
this is a big game for the Green Wave? This is a road game now. And they got a pretty decent quarterback in Evan Simon Temple. Tulane needs to really be careful in this game. Play mistake-free football, run the ball. They've had some problems with turnovers at times this year. This does feel like a little, like I said, trap game. There's a couple here on this weekend that feels like trap games to me. And this is a game you simply do not want to lose. Because if you lose this game,
you're out.
Your hopes of going to the playoff are pretty much zipped up.
Yep.
So win this game, and you're pretty much a lock, most likely, for the AAC championship. So take care of business and get out of there with a win, get everybody healthy, and get ready for a run to the playoff.
I'm going to stick with the Green Wave here, but, man, a couple of weeks ago they went somewhere and laid an egg. Where was it?
UTSA.
Thank you. And UTSA has not been very good. Temple has actually played better than UTSA most of this season. Now, UTSA has come on a little bit late, and Temple has kind of faded late. So maybe that's in their favor. But if you look at the whole season, Temple's actually played better than UTSA. So Tulane needs to go there and take care of business.
I agree with you.
I'm going to stick with the Green Wave. All right, John, I threw this one in. I know nobody is talking about Western Kentucky University. They're 8-2, and they get a chance this week to go down to Baton Rouge in a lame duck season for the LSU Tigers who, by the way, may not have their starting quarterback this week. Of course, the LSU Tigers are a 21.5-point favorite at home here. But if the Hilltoppers could go pull this off and then beat Jack State next week and be sitting at 10-2, and a couple of these AAC teams knock each other off and JMU lose, crazier things could happen.
You know, Clay Helton has really turned that program around. He's done a really good job down there at Western.
Yep.
And here's the thing, like LSU, how are they going to end this year? You know, you lose Brian Kelly. You know, you got an interim coach in there.
Like I said, it's a lame duck season.
It is. And they're most likely probably just going to a regular bowl. It's not, you know, one of their best seasons, to be fair. Western Kentucky's got a lot to play for here. And
they do.
They go, and I'll be honest with you, I'm going to take the points with WKU. I just don't think they can go on the road at night and beat a LSU team in Death Valley. It's just tough. But I do think they'll compete for 3 quarters. Now, if it gets somewhere between 17-10, LSU late in the second half, I'd be sweating if I was with the Bayou Bengals, because that could be a dangerous combination, letting a team like that hang in the game.
But I live 25 minutes from WKU. My son actually goes to WKU. Okay, so I am going to tell you that I do have some bias. That is why I put this game on the schedule for us to talk about. Like you said, Helton has done a great job to continue Western's tradition, to be honest with you. They've had a long tradition. Many years ago, it was in the FCS division. And over the last 10, 15 years, it's been FBS with the big boys. And they've made bowl games and had really good seasons for a long time. Look it up. Do I think they're going to go get still a win in Baton Rouge on Saturday? I do not. Would it elate me if they do? Absolutely. 21.5. LSU is, John, is going to probably be without Nussmeier.
Yeah, he's not playing.
I don't think he's playing.
It's going to be tough.
So there's a lot going against LSU. Lame duck season, coach fired, interim coach, without their quarterback. They really don't have nothing left to play for. They can't get to the playoffs. They're already bowl eligible, I think. And there's really nothing left to play for, really. So could Western Kentucky Hilltoppers go in there and pull this off? Doubtful, but I wanted to put it in here. I'm going to go LSU because that's. But I promise you, I'll be pulling the other way this week. All right, this is the ACC game, John. Louisville at SMU. Believe it or not, SMU still has a shot to play in the ACC championship game. This is in Dallas. The Mustangs are a 2.5-point favorite over the Cardinals here, John.
Well, and Louisville's probably going to be without Isaac Brown again this week. Now, Keyshawn Brown and Duke Watson have been really, really good. The defense got Cal just absolutely run up and down the field on them. And, kicking game lost the Clemson game. I feel like Isaac Brown being out is tough, but I'm not going to use that excuse, Brad. Now, to be fair, if SMU wins, they're probably going to the ACC championship game.
They're only one loss. They only have one loss
like,
in conference.
You got to talk about, Virginia, Miami's still there, Georgia Tech. Like this weekend is a big weekend for all three of those teams.
It is.
Why?
SMU has a couple of losses,
Yep.
but only one of those losses is in conference. I think Miami has 2 losses.
That's the thing. They got the tiebreaker on Miami.
Yeah.
So they win this game.
They still have a shot.
There's a good chance. And there's still a good chance they could slide right in there to the college football playoff as well as an ACC champion. Now, I don't know how
as the ACC champion. They sure can.
Yep. So
listen, everybody, if you've been watching my show, you know that I kind of pull for SMU. It goes way back to the days of the Pony Express and Eric Dickerson being my favorite back of all time. So if you follow me, you should know that. But I'm going to go with the Mustangs here at home.
I think they win big, honestly.
Give me Brett Lashley and the job that he's doing.
The Louisville's have shelled themselves in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Wireman says that they're going to win big.
Lock of the week, Wireman says.
Yep. All right. The last one we're going to talk about in football, John, and I think this is a big one. Washington State. Yes, Washington State, the old Pac-12 team that is playing without a conference this year, is going to be back in the new Pac-12 next year, is at James Madison on the road. Washington's 5-5. JMU is playing for a chance here to finish the season undefeated, or not undefeated, finish the season with 1 loss and still have a shot at college football playoff. They're a 13.5 point favorite at home.
You want to know what's crazy about this game? This game's on ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
It is 1 o'clock.
That's good.
I think that's with how big this game is for JMU. I think putting them on those networks is not a good thing. Like it's really, really not. But you got to consider the opponent. You got Wazoo. They got to win this game.
TV. JMU probably plays some games where they're not even on TV.
This game is important, I think, for both. Washington State, they got to win this game or they got to beat Oregon State next week to make a bowl.
Yep.
The Dukes, they whipped Appalachian State last week. Now, if Tulane loses,
it's probably going to be JMU next.
It gets interesting.
Or North Texas right now.
I feel like this game is going to matter in terms of style points too.
Yeah.
For the committee.
Yeah.
Because we're probably going to be looking at them like they would North Texas.
Yeah, if they can cover this spread and win by 20 points over Washington State, it'd be pretty impressive.
It is. I agree with you. So give me JMU. I think they win this game. Washington State, if we look back to early in the year, North Texas beat them like a drum. Now, that's not to say that JMU is better than North Texas, but you got to look at it from all angles. So,
and North Texas is also with 1 loss. So, I mean,
this whole week, I've said it, I've repeated myself. This whole weekend is huge for a lot of teams.
It is. I think this game's going to be a little closer than expected, but I do believe James Madison actually pulls this game out and maybe covers this spread by like a 2 touchdown late in the 4th quarter, something like that. That's where I'm going to go with it.
I think they take care of business.
All right, John, we're going to get to a couple of basketball games. Excuse me. We'll get to a couple here. We got these games, I think, are tomorrow. I believe they're Friday night games. I've got Louisville at Cincinnati. Louisville is an 8.5-point favorite on the road in Cincinnati this weekend. And that's the first one we're going to talk about. Of course, Louisville's coming off the big win over the Cats about a week ago.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Brad. I love this Louisville team. Ryan Conwell, he had back-to-back games there against Kentucky and Ohio, looked really well. He's shooting a three good. They're 4-0. This is a really, really good Louisville team. Michael Brown, they just got so many weapons to kind of go at you. And then they got the kid in the middle, Frew, that me and you talked about the other night. I think I'm going to go with the Cardinals here. Cincinnati is 4-0, but they've really not played anybody up until now. And they're going to get their first test. Now, Cincinnati's really good defensively. They're 18th in points given up per game with 61. But they are going to have to force some mistakes on Louisville because Louisville don't make a lot of errors. You look at the Kentucky game, Louisville likes to get out and run and shoot the ball, and I think that's what's going to happen this weekend or tomorrow. So give me Louisville and the 8.5. I think they take care of this. I think Louisville is a Final Four team this year.
Wow, okay. You already saying that?
I do. I think they're that good, man.
Okay, then. I do think Louisville more than likely wins this game in Cincy. 8.5. I probably will give it to the Cards in this one. I do like this Louisville team. They do have a lot of offensive weapons, shooters that can shoot from anywhere and knock it down. However, I'm not ready to say what you said. I do believe some good defensive teams could give them some trouble.
Yeah, I think so. I do. I just feel like Cincinnati don't have the talent level to match Louisville. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I think they got better dudes than Cincinnati's got.
Yeah, I'm taking the Cards here in this one. Maybe a 10, 12-point game, something like that. All right. Also, I think this is tomorrow as well. This is a ranked matchup here. Wisconsin's like 23 or 24 or something like that. BYU, of course, has a lot of talent this year, ranked really high. They are a 4.5-point favorite in this game.
I'm going to tell you something. BYU has lived up to their name.
They've been playing everybody, too, already.
They played against UConn. They went toe-to-toe in Boston.
Yep.
Kevin Young is building a team there. DeBonsa, man, he's so good. Richie Saunders, Robert Wright, they've been really good. They give them a balanced team. They can score at all three levels. Now, Kiba Kita, I don't know if he's going to play. He had a concussion the other night. And Kennard Davis, there's still a lot of things going on with him with the off-the-court issues that he got in trouble, last week. I don't know really what's going on with that. I feel like BYU, the way they run and their pace and their toughness, I think this is going to test Wisconsin. Now, let's be fair. Wisconsin's got a couple guys that, Nick Boyd, he's a really big scoring threat for the Badgers. John Blackwell is really good. I think, Greg Gard has been a really good coach for Wisconsin. Now, they didn't have a great year last year. They struggled at times, but they've had really good teams in the past. And I think this is going to be a knockout, drag-out, grinded out possession type game. And I think BYU will want to kind of push this game. And Wisconsin will be more like wanting to slow it down. And I think whoever wins that match wins this basketball game.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to take the BYU here. I think they have the more talent.
They do.
I really like the AJ DeBonte kid. I mean, he's amazing. Likely
He's so good.
could be in the number one pick next year. I'm not sure, but there's a few other guys in the running.
I'll be honest with you. Kiba Kita, the big man, I really believe that he changes this whole team when he's healthy. Now, he got injured the other night. He had a concussion protocol, so I don't know if he'll play against Wisconsin. But you add him to all what they got, AJ DeBonce, Richie Saunders, Robert Wright. Then you add in who was it? Did I say Kennard Davis when he gets back from all the other off-court issues? This is a Sweet 16 Elite 8 team that can really make noise.
Yeah, I'm going to take BYU in this one. And then, John, I've got 3 women's games. I think the first 2 are tomorrow as well. Number 11 USC is at number 24 Notre Dame. Of course, everybody knows this is a big rivalry between USC and Notre Dame. Mm-hmm. Same thing in women's basketball. It's a big, huge rivalry game. And the Trojans are at South Bend.
Yeah, I like Hannah Hidalgo, man. She can really, really, really play. I think she wins this game by herself, honestly. Now, UCLA's got some really good pieces. You know, they don't have Juju now, but I believe that Notre Dame, I feel like, is the better team in this game this early. Now, does that say that
they got DJ Jazzy Davidson?
Jazzy Davidson, yeah, she's good. Here's the thing.
You didn't catch my joke.
Yeah, I heard you.
DJ Jazzy Davidson.
Yeah, Jazzy. Yeah. Here's the thing, though, Brad. Early in the year, it seems like Notre Dame's really, really good, and it seems like later they kind of fall out. And USC simply didn't do that last year, I don't think. They played towards the end better than they did in the beginning. But I think Notre Dame is just seasoned with certain players, veterans, and they got Hannah Hidalgo, which I think makes a big difference, and I think they win this game.
Well, listen, Notre Dame, 24 is kind of low. They did lose a game the other night. So they did fall in the rankings here. This would have been a top 15 matchup if it wasn't for that. But they are a top-notch program in the women's game. So is USC. I'm not going to knock them as well. But it's tough to beat them on the road in South Bend. I'm going to take Notre Dame in this one, I believe. All right, John, this is the big one of the weekend. This is tomorrow as well. Number 6 number 6 Michigan is taking on number 1 UConn. This is the start of Feast Week. And we're going to bring up Feast Week right after we finish the next one. But I just want to bring it up in this. That's Happy Thanksgiving behind us, has been on the screen. This is part of Feast Week, John.
Yep. I love this UConn team, man. They got so many weapons. You know, Sarah Strong is really, really good. I'm trying to think of the girl in the backcourt. Lost train of thought.
Fudd,
Asia Fudd. She's really, really good. I like this UConn team. I think, I think they got a shot to repeat. Let's be honest.
They do. They do have a good shot to repeat.
Now, this Michigan team is really, really good too. They got a really improved team from a year ago.
There's a kid by the name of Swords on this.
And if you don't know who that is, her sister just committed to Kentucky.
Just signed with Kentucky.
Yes.
Yeah.
So look out for her. That's a really good Michigan team and UConn, but I think I'm going to go with the Huskies in this one. I think I think they get it done.
Man, Michigan's got a team now.
They do.
I think they're going to give them a run for their money here in this game. I do not think this is going to be a game where UConn just stomps on their neck and they can't go nowhere, because sometimes in UConn and women, that's what they do.
You said that last year against South Carolina, and UConn went in there and wore them out. So
and they stomped on their neck and wore them out. So you're right.
I mean,
I think Michigan will not lay down and do that here.
No,
I really do think that. But I am going to take UConn. You can't pick against them. They have so much talent. It's unreal. But this Michigan team is a really, really good women's basketball team. All right, John, I'm going to end it up Saturday. This is the big game of the weekend for me. I'm just going to be honest with you. I am covering women's basketball and the Kentucky women's team. Been doing it for 3 years now. So number 20 Kentucky is in Louisville against number 21 Louisville Cardinals on Saturday. John, what's your initial thoughts on this game?
This is going to be a fun game. You know, Kentucky leads the rivalry 35-24. They won last year by 10 in overtime. People don't remember, before that game last year, Louisville had won 7 straight.
Yep.
In the series.
Jeff Walz had kind of took control of the series up until last year.
They did. You know, they're really good, Brad. You know, Laura Ziegler's really good. Tajana Roberts, Raina Scott, she's averaging double digits. The Wildcats have been shooting 31% from the three, but the thing about Kentucky is they protect the rim. They're really big. You know, you got Clara Strack, she's averaging 17 points. You got Jordan Obey with 13, Amelia Hassett. They haven't been really, like, dominant from the arc, but they're averaging 84, which is they use their size, Brad, inside the three-point line. And I feel like that could make a problem for Louisville in this game.
Outside of one girl, I really don't think this Louisville team has the size that Kentucky does.
They do not. And I think that's where Kentucky will win this game, in my opinion. Now, I'll be honest with you. Laura Ziegler is really, really good. They're, you know, Jeff Waltz, he's one of the best coaches, I think, in college basketball. Now, they got a little bit of size, but I just don't think they have enough size to contend with this Kentucky team. But I could be wrong. I mean, they could come in and they could just shoot dead.
I mean, on the road, they're probably going to try to press the Kentucky team tomorrow night. It would not surprise me at all that if Jeff doesn't try to kind of rattle the Cats on the road and create a whole bunch of turnovers. I am expecting that. I said tomorrow night, Saturday night, or Saturday afternoon. But here's the thing about the Kentucky team. They're one of, if not the best defensive team in the country. Look at points allowed. Look at field goal percentage allowed. Look at blocks. Look at rebounds. They're one of the best defensive teams in the country. Clara Strack was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year last year as a sophomore.
Yeah, she's playing.
And is playing it at that level or better this year.
Yeah, maybe even better than last year.
Yes, at that level or better this year, okay? She is a junior.
She's what Georgia Amore was to Kentucky this year.
I mean, she's averaging 17-plus points, 12.5 rebounds, almost 3.5 blocks a game. She's really dominant. She's 6'5". She's already made 5 or 6 3-pointers on the season. She stretches the floor out. She can post. She can shoot the three. She can block your shot. I mean, she can do it all. So if Kentucky can handle the press, they do have Tony Morgan, and they have Asia Boone, they have Josie Gilvin, they have some guard play that can do that. I just think Jeff Walz is going to try to rattle them on the road in a crowd, in the a rowdy crowd, rivalry environment. If Kentucky can handle the press and hit their threes, because this Kentucky team is averaging putting up about 33s a game. Yep. If they can hit 8 or 10, 12 threes on Saturday, Kentucky wins this game fairly handily, I believe. I'm going to say if they're hitting threes, I think it could be a 10-plus point win, to be honest with you. By the way, Kentucky is averaging, they're 6-0, and they're beating their opponents by over 40 points a game so far. Now, they haven't played a level. They played Purdue the other night. They haven't played a level like Louisville just yet. That won't happen on Saturday. But if Kentucky is hitting their threes, if Amelia Hassett, Asia Boone, KK Carroll, Clara Strack are hitting threes, they win 10 plus. Yep. I'm gonna take the Cats here, and take them on the road. All right, John. That wraps up all of our picks for tonight. But I do want to end our show talking about Feast Week. You want to do the men's first, or you want to do the women's?
Let's do the women's. I don't know really what's going on with Feast Week and the women's, so I could do the men's for you.
You want to do the women's first?
I'll let you do the women's because I don't know who's really playing. I've been keeping up with the men a lot more than the women. Starting
all right,
year.
let's do the men's first, and I'll let you talk about it.
Okay. Well, you got the Rady Children's Invitational. You got the Baja Mar Championship. You got the Players Era Championship. There's some notable matchups here. Alabama plays Gonzaga. Michigan plays San Diego State. Houston plays Tennessee, which is going to be a really fun matchup from the Elite Eight from a year ago. You had Memphis and Purdue tonight. Texas Tech and Wake Forest, I think they're getting ready to be over. You got the ESPN event. I think it's Florida. Or no, it's BYU and Miami, Georgetown and Dayton. I feel like you're looking at, in this game, A.J. DeBonsa. You're going to see him on ESPN, and you're going to get a live look at who he is as a player. The one tournament that really kind of has went sour has been the Maui Invitational, Brad. It's kind of went downhill. You got Seton Hall, NC State in there this year, USC, Boise State, Washington State, Chaminade, Arizona State, Texas. I feel like this tournament has been taken away from the Players Era tournament where,
everybody's trying to get into the Players Era tournament now.
Yeah. Win the Maui, to me, I feel like is an early win for like you look at Will Wade or Sean Miller, Eric Musselman. This would be an early good win and trophy for them early in the season because you don't win championships in November. Like you just don't. But it's good to kind of take your team and gel with your team and get out there and play some games. And even when you lose, you get to play more games. Like you play 2 games, 3. So it's kind of an awesome event. And then you have the Battle for Atlantis. Now, this year, it's Vanderbilt. They play Western Kentucky, I think, the first game, which should be a fun game. Western's pretty good. They got a kid on that team. I think his last name is Boone, and he is absolutely a treat to watch. That will be a fun matchup. You got South Florida and VCU, Colorado State and Virginia Tech, Wichita State and St. Mary's. It's kind of down this year. There's not a lot of big name teams in it. Now you're going to love some of these games. Vanderbilt, I think, is a team to watch. Mark Byington is a really good coach for Vanderbilt. My thing is you got I can't say his name is Neokilis Avadilis. He's a Greek freshman from Virginia Tech. He's supposed to be really, really good for the Hokies. Now, there's a lot of guys you probably not want to know in this Balfour Atlantis tournament because you've never heard of them before because they're not some of the big name guys. That's how you learn about some of these mid-major kids.
Well, I know Feast Week is one of your favorite weeks of the year. It always is.
It just sucks, I think, because, I remember back when I was growing up, Kentucky was in this, Feast Week every single year, it seemed like. Maui. Yeah. They was in the Alaskan Shootout for many, many years. I don't even know if they have the Alaskan Shootout anymore. It used to be a big thing back in the day. Yeah. I think Kentucky was in it, a couple of times, 3 times? They used to play Clemson every year up in Alaska. It was always a fun experiment for Kentucky, and I hope they get back to that. But like you said, it's a fun week, fun opportunity to sit back and watch TV, kick back, eat some pecan pie, watch some NFL on Thursday because you always get
during Thanksgiving. So the week of Thanksgiving, that's why it's called Feast Week. So that's why we have it up here. I do want to make sure that we tell everybody next week our schedule and all these. We will not be doing a show on Thursday night. I will guarantee you that. If we can work in a show on Friday for our game day pick'ems, we will. We will see how that works. I know I'm going to be out doing some stuff, doing some shopping, and doing some stuff on Friday. So we will see how that works next week.
Are you buying me some?
But I mean, I love Feast Week as well. There's a lot of good basketball. You can learn a lot about these teams and players during this. On the women's basketball side, I'm not going to talk a ton about it, but there are some of these same tournaments. So Paradise Jam is one that you should pay attention to. The Baha Mar, just like on the men's side, they have a women's tournament that's going on at the same time. The Players Era out in Vegas this time has
you got Texas and UCLA going at it.
There's 4 big teams in the Players Era on the women's side this time. And 2 big games there. Duke and South Carolina match up next Wednesday night as a big game here during Feast Week. Kentucky,
Booker, Lauren
yeah, UCLA and Texas. Kentucky is playing in a Puerto Rico tournament on Feast Week. The women play Maryland next Wednesday night. They are a top 14, 15 team in the country. So that's going to be a great matchup next Wednesday night. So there is a lot of good basketball over the next week. A lot of good matchups.
Oregon State plays Vanderbilt in the Paradise Jam in the Virgin Islands.
Paradise Jam. I just named a few of the tournaments. Yeah.
You got Iowa State playing Marquette. You get to look at Crooks. She's really, really good. Indiana, Gonzaga play. I think Kansas and Georgia play. There's quite a bit of games. North Carolina plays Columbia. I think later in the week, Georgia Tech and Florida play. Then you got an Indiana-Iowa State meeting. Audie Crooks already has a 43-point game this year, Brad.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
She's a beast in the paint.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good games here. UConn has another matchup. They start one out tomorrow with Michigan, and then I think later in the week they have another big-time matchup.
Yeah, I can't remember who they play. And then you got NFL on Thursday on Thanksgiving. You got the Detroit
Yep.
Lions and the Cowboys that normally kick the door in for Thanksgiving. So
Kentucky women are in the feast week here. They are play 2 games. They have one big game and then one smaller school that's in their tournament in Puerto Rico. But there is a lot of good games. Like I said, check out the Paradise Jam, the Baja Mar, and the Players Era Championship. Those are the 3 big ones, I think, for the women's side. There's a bunch of other tournaments as well, smaller tournaments. Like I said, Kentucky's in a Puerto Rico one, and there's a bunch of other tournaments as well. So check all them out.
Anthony Wireman made a comment here. He said, "Did you guys already talk about Mark Pope's multi-year contract extension and raise?"
Yeah. He's trying to pull something.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. I just want to say from College Sportscast, from us, we do want to wish each and every one of you a happy Thanksgiving week. We hope you enjoy some time with your family, enjoy with sports, have some good meals, maybe even get a piece of pecan pie.
And I'll say this real quick while we're at it. You know I shouldn't have brought this up, but I just kind of wanted to bring this up because it happened last week. The whole Dallas Cowboy thing with Marshawn Nealon. I kind of wanted to bring this up to kind of slide it into Thanksgiving. Spend time with your family as often as you can. Like even this week, I don't know if you have family, if you have friends, if you got friends, go to their house. If you don't have any friends, go somewhere where there's people and get around people and around love and others, because I feel like sometimes people don't feel loved during this time of year because it's the holidays. And get around people that actually love you and appreciate you and want you around, because life is short. And a lot of those guys, and they kind of brought it up last week, time is a vapor, and sometimes it's very, very short. And if you got family, get out there and enjoy your family time with your family and love those around you while you still got them.
I agree. John, we will be doing a show on Monday night, our Wildcat Weekly show. I know we will do that.
And I will say College Sportscast will be doing updates tomorrow for the UK basketball game.
Yeah, John will be at the game tomorrow night, so we'll be doing updates, and then I'll be doing some updates on the Kentucky-Louisville game for the women's side on Saturday. And then on Sunday, do not be surprised if I'm not updating the volleyball tournament down in Savannah, Georgia, because the Cats, number 2 ranked country in the country, will be playing down there in the SEC tournament this weekend. So a lot going on that we will be doing here at College Sportscast, but we do hope you enjoy next week and just be thankful. Tap into, just understanding and examining your life and being thankful for what you have. So,
yeah, I mean, I said it a few minutes ago, life is short. Time is short. Love those around you and forget about the rest. The way I look at it, Brad, if somebody don't like you, then that gives room for somebody else to come in and love on you. But, at the end of the day, because there's too many people out in this world that are hurting and they need support and they need love. And I think that's what people need, especially being around Thanksgiving. Because I'm going to tell you something, and I don't mean to get on a big rant, but the holidays are tough. People have lost loved ones over the years. Every year is a really difficult.
Can be, but if you tap into appreciating what you do have instead of focusing on what you don't or what you've lost, it helps.
It does. I agree with you.
It does help.
That was McDonald's coffee. It didn't cost you 5 cents.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap this up. This has been a longer show. We haven't done one for a little while. So I hope you guys have a great week. Eat a lot of turkey. Eat some good dressing for me, please.
Please eat some pecan pie so Brad will hush.
If I don't get some pecan pie, the next time y'all see me, I'm going to be grumpy.
Oh, yeah. You'll.
Y'all have a good night. I will see you next week for Wildcat Weekly.